Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here this morning and a joy to be back in this beautiful building with all of you. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. I've been pondering this beautiful verse for the last month or so, and I'm quite taken by its all-encompassing claim. Everything we see is God's. All of creation is His, and all who live on this earth are God's people. What an amazing thought. There is nothing that we see and no one we meet who are outside of God's embrace. I think most of us would say we agree with this in our head, but it's so hard to live as though we believe this when challenges come or when people fail us. And yet, this truth rings out and calls us to a life of faith and ever-deepening trust in the Almighty who holds each one of us. Here at St. Anne's, we are in the midst of our annual stewardship campaign. And as I thought about my understanding of stewardship and what God calls us to in supporting this church and its ministries, this verse helped to orient me. Everything I have is God's. All that I see, all those I love, this beautiful church and this wonderful community that I and my family are blessed to call home. It is all God's, and because of that, we can be confident that God is at work all around us. We are each given the opportunity to join God in that ongoing work by sharing our gifts, our time, talents, and treasure. The Lord has given us all unique gifts and asks us to look around and see where we can contribute. As believers, we are called to participate in and support our local church. So please remember to make your annual pledge, which helps the vestry and clergy plan for next year. I love that in Paul's letter to the Corinthians, he reminds us all that God loves a cheerful giver. I think we're called to give joyfully with confidence that all we have was given to us from God, so it's all His anyway. Our efforts to hold on to His blessings will limit our growth as followers of Jesus. In the midst of a global pandemic and all the uncertainty that surrounds us, I find it freeing to remember that God will bless our gifts and use them to grow the kingdom. But God doesn't just ask us to give our material gifts generously. He also asks us to give of ourselves freely, to look for ways to serve in our community, and there are many ways to serve. There are ministries here at St. Anne's and many opportunities to serve in our community. This is the time for the church, for all of us to remember who we are and to boldly go out in service to our neighbors, to all our neighbors, serving in ways big and small, but in all those actions showing the love of Jesus. There are so many ways to get involved now. You can donate food or gift cards. You can staff a food bank or a pop-up pantry. You can tutor children as they attend virtual school. You can prepare dinners for the lighthouse, and many, many other ways all around us. But no, God is already at work in all these places, and we are being given an invitation to join in this kingdom building. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it.